Imagine waking up one morning and there's no power in your home. You look outside, but the streetlights aren't working either, and none of your neighbors' lights are on. You wait a couple hours, thinking another squirrel must have gnawed its way into one of those power boxes again when you hear a scream coming from outside. You peek out the window just in time to see your neighbor trip and spontaneously turn it into a Krabby Patty meal now being split several ways as a book club's worth of women chow down. Congratulations, you woke up late to the apocalypse. Halloween's coming up, and it's been a while since I birthed a video, so I wanted to talk about a few points that those of you who haven't planned out your zombie apocalypse lifestyle may not have considered. Taking out the trash? Why bother? Nobody's coming to pick it up now that everyone's dead. Have you ever tried composting? Ever dug an emergency toilet? Have you ever used a porta potty? Well, I hope you're still enjoying the sights the city has to offer because the smells are about to get much worse. Oh, or if you happen to be in an apartment building in the summertime with all those corpses, let's just hope your neighbors left the window open a crack before they join the army of the undead, am I right? Don't even get me started on bathing. Depending on where you are, the amount of access that you have to water... Ugh! I live in Canada and I don't even want to imagine trying to shower or maintain any sort of hygiene in the dead of winter. Like, even if you were to live near a river or a lake, the amount of fuel you would need to heat all that water just to bathe seems pretty tedious. You could take a polar plunge with the risk of hypothermia, but imagine getting stuck in or on a frozen lake while a zombie or three shuffles around your gear pile. If the choice is between clearing out a bathroom with no windows just to sit upon a porcelain throne in the dark, possibly alongside months-old doo-doo, or go in the bushes with no form of privacy, I think I'd have to start packing up the old tent because I'm not entirely sure I want to find out how many cans of beans my toilet can hold. So I feel like this one's a little bit more self-explanatory. Even with libraries in most populated areas, I feel like not being able to rewatch all of Adventure Time would break a piece of my soul. I was at my library the other day and a freaking moth hit my eye. Like, I know our library is old, but if it already is a moth problem, I don't even want to think of what state it'd be left in during the apocalypse. Like, imagine some bozo breaking a window or two for infinite kindling, and then the whole library is just open to the elements. Also, I mean, not to brag or anything, but this video you're watching, I drew it. Yeah, I even posted it on YouTube. I know there's this running joke about people not being able to eat until they find a good video to watch, but if I had to sit alone with my thoughts, and only my thoughts, for the rest of time, I think I might start looking for the exit, you know what I'm saying? No survival instincts. Just a furry little guy. Can't even open a can of wet food on her own. That's right, I'm talking about my cat. She literally eats tape. If I were to leave her alone in a room with a pack of duct tape, the next time I enter that room, duct tape shit cat. Every time I watch a movie where a cat is in any sort of danger, my heart rate skyrockets. You know that scene from A Quiet Place Day 1? I was on the brink of tears. Not because I was sad, but because I was so worried about the cat that I couldn't blink. The only real option is to lock my cat up in a bunker with a door that'll automatically open time capsule style after a year or two, with an automatic feeder and a petting machine, and something to give her enrichment every now and then. For your information, no, I haven't set this up, but when I do, I promise I will post an in-depth tutorial so your pets can also thrive in the zombie apocalypse. Tiramisu, cheesecake, pumpkin pie, brownies. There is no baking in the apocalypse. Bro, how am I supposed to math out my feelings if all I have is a can of beans? I mean, sure, you can take it out on the undead, but I'm an artist. I use art to work things out, and baking is up there on my list of the ways that I do that. On the other hand, having a Tallahassee moment where I attempt to travel the world in order to make every baked good known to mankind might be kind of fun. Like, hunting down recipes in abandoned bookstores and learning various languages just to find out I need root beer extract. Or some other ingredient for a fusion recipe that was only ever imported upon request before the apocalypse? Maybe I'll leave it to the professionals for this one. So, you survived the initial wave. Even survived the collapse of the first few settlements and lived long enough to create a fortress of your own. One day, a scouting team returns with ancient delights, including a package of freeze-dried peanut butter. Being a child in the early days of the apocalypse was rough, and thinking back on it, you can't remember eating much besides game meat and the occasional can of beans. So you decide that you'll be the first to try this long-lost delicacy, and you're dead. Decades after the start of the apocalypse, there won't be anything like a patch test for allergies, and I shudder to think of some settlement dying off just because their only doctor happened to get stung by the wrong bee. In conclusion, should the apocalypse ever arrive, I will be commandeering a small town office building, preferably one with a nearby library, and establishing a cat bunker somewhere within. Thanks for watching, bye!